Welcome to today's episode of our podcast, Empowering Voices with Female Coaches. My name is Helia Singh, and I'm your host. I'm excited to introduce our incredible guest today. Her name is Patti Steorts. She's a transformational divorce coach and the founder of the empowering movement, Rebel Without the Ring. Patti specializes in guiding women across the globe to reconnect with their inner wild women after divorce, helping them harness their body's wisdom and sharpen their intuition. So, with a background in physical therapy and over 15 years of experience, she uses a variety of modalities and techniques to help her clients achieve harmony and balance in body, mind, and soul. Patti is passionate about supporting women, of course. So she wants to help women to create their own story after divorce and live their authentic life. So without any further ado, I would like to invite our special guest from Texas, US, to the stage on our podcast. Welcome, Patti.
Yes. Hello. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? I don't have a cool Texas accent, so I'm sorry about that.
Look, you've got the look, girl. Come on, I love it.
Yes. Well, I love purple because, purple represents royalty. So that's what I am.
Well done. No, that's great. Look, obviously, we know each other through social media. That's what I love about social media. So, and the first time I've heard about your movement and your group, which is called Rebel Without the Ring, that itself, reading that, has just brought the rebel inside me. So, and I have to admit, rebellious is one of my shadow values, and I acknowledge it. So it's amazing. It's just how much that word can empower you. I really love that. Thank you for
Yes.
being here. I know it's late evening for you, but you being here, really appreciate it. So if it's okay, I'll just dive into the questions. So
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Let's have some fun.
wonderful. So your movement, of course, going back to that, Rebel Without the Ring. So can you share the inspiration behind creating this movement and what it means to you personally?
So I went through a divorce. I've only been divorced for about a year, separated for about 2. So I went through a lot of the messiness and the chaos that divorce brings when you decide to split from your partner. And I've always been really kind of a rebellious person, never really been into following the crowd. Always been one of those people like, why is everybody going that way? And I am stubborn as hell. So when everybody goes one way, I'm usually the one that goes the complete opposite way because I don't like that way. So it was one of those things where I've always kind of been rebellious, but it took me 42 years really to speak up and actually find my voice and to be brave enough and bold enough to start speaking up and being fully rebellious and stepping into who I am and belonging to myself. Um, and just going through the divorce, I had to put my big girl pants on. Fortunately for me, I had a really good career in physical therapy. Um, but when you're married for 15 years, you become really dependent on the other person and you forget who you are sometimes inside of your marriage under being the mom and being a wife and being a really ambitious career woman. So Rebel Without the Ring came, after I went through my divorce process and started healing through my divorce journey, and that's where it came from.
Wow, thank you for sharing your story. It's so inspiring, that how you turned such an event, which is obviously, nobody planned to get married to end up in divorce. That's the reality. But you turned it to a movement that not only you actually proven by your own actions that yes, you can actually have a good life after divorce. But now you are sharing it with other women to help them say that like divorce is not the end of your life. So you can still live happily ever after. Or some people call it, happily divorce. When you ask people, your relationship status, they say, well, happily divorce. And that is quite empowering when I hear it. To my lovely audience, we are not here to advocate for divorce or just say people to say, yeah, you should get divorced. This is not about that. We are just saying that if at all, if somebody goes through that, so for whatever reason, this is not the end of your life. And you can actually come back and just be more stronger. Wonderful. Now brings me to the next question, and that is that you emphasize connecting women to their body's wisdom. Can you explain what this means and how it helps in healing process after divorce?
Yeah, absolutely. So, a lot of the times, we as women, we've been deeply conditioned to ignore our body and what it's telling us. And we've been told to go out and help everybody else, and instead of going within ourselves and coming back home to ourselves and really tuning in to the wisdom of what our body has always been saying to us and what it's always been telling us. Because when we go within and we tap into our really deep intuition, our body's going to have the answer for us. So one of the things that I've learned just studying the body as a healthcare worker for 15 years is that we hold a lot of our conditioning and our stories within our energy system. And then we hold it in certain organs of our bodies, and we hold it all the way down into the cellular level of our bodies. And so when you're being conditioned and told to do this one way or do something that way your whole life, you just hold these stories. And these stories go all the way back to our ancestors. They're stories that we grown up with in our childhood. So we end up having a lot of stored stagnant energy, and we carry it inside of these stories and we hold it inside of our organs. And I help women to go back to study their origin, where they have come from, all the way back to their ancestors, and figure out what their stories were, all the way up to the present day of who they are now. So with that, when they learn how to do that and understand their history and now understand where they are in the present, they can slowly start healing and tapping into some of these organs where they're holding these old stories and start changing themselves on a cellular level and stepping into a new identity.
Wow, that is very, very interesting. And it's so true. I mean, because I remember a couple of years ago, I went through some hellish time of my life. Aside from that, so my body took the toll in there, and I had the frozen shoulder. Again, that took more than 6 months to heal it, or actually, just to look after it, or at least bring it back to normal. But every now and then, I know nothing happens, but it feels I've got that, my muscles got that memory, the pain, and it just always triggers by the things that happened to me that time. And that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
This is exactly, oh, wow. And you could help people, well, I mean, women to get rid of that pain through the organs. Wow, that
Yeah.
is exciting, wonderful. So now bring me to the next question. And obviously, is many women struggle with their identity after a divorce because, as you mentioned, for a long time they've been a wife, mother. Of course, being a mother that never ends, but then become a single mother. So, or the society will label them differently. So, what are some practical steps you recommend for them to reconnect with their true selves and embrace their wildness?
So one of the things that really helped me while I was going through my divorce was just meditating. I had to really learn to take just 5 minutes, not even 2 minutes, if you can do 2 minutes to yourself, and just do meditation. Do some deep breath work, deep breath in, deep breath out, and just do that for 2 minutes just to refocus back on yourself. And once I started getting into the habit of just doing that any time of day, 2 minutes to yourself, it started releasing a lot of this energy that I kept storing. And what does energy need to do? Energy needs to flow in and out. So just learning to meditate, and you can meditate anywhere. You could go for a walk and meditate. You don't have to be sitting on a yoga mat with your legs crossed and your eyes closed to meditate. You can go for a walk, be in nature. That's meditation. Uh, just doing dishes. Sometimes I'll get lost and doing, something like that. So meditation's super easy thing to do. You can do it anywhere, anytime. And then journaling was a big one for me. I love to write, but that's my personal preference. Some people don't really like to write. Or instead of journaling, you don't have to journal, but like keep like one of those, I don't know, logs or something that you can speak into, just to collect your thoughts and come back to yourself. So really simple, easy steps like that, because when you're a busy single mother, or you have a crazy career, you want to do something as simple as possible, so you're not adding on to all these other things that are already making your life really busy. So just learning to take a couple minutes for yourself, just a little bit of time. And that's going to really help regulate your body and help you just connect better with yourself again.
It's great. Yes. Self-love starts from even that 2 minutes meditation. And that's something us women, we are not very good at it, unfortunately. We give love to everyone. And sometimes, and most of the time, we forget ourselves in that process. And whether you are going through, some hardship in your family or going through divorce, always self-love is something that always bring you back to home. And so from a different angle, you will start to look at the problems or finding solution or whatever you have to do next based on your circumstances. That is great. Thank you. Interesting you mentioned this, because when we agreed that we're going to do this podcast, so I was just doing some research about your angle of being a divorce coach, which is amazing, because that's what women need. So many people, they get bogged down about the legality and all the financial things and all other area of divorce, but the healing part, as a woman, to go through that, I think that's something not that many people have spoken about it. And being just specifically talking about that and acknowledging that this is amazing and well done to you. And while I was doing research, I came across a very interesting poem by Rumi. And that's, sorry, I'm not remembering exact words, but it's about that, to me, that immediately this was resonating with what our topic is. And was talking about this when something breaks in your life or something bad happens and you feel broken, just because that you are supposed to put the pieces back together in a more beautiful way. So when you are broken, then divorce obviously is a broken of relationship, broken of that previous identity and many things. But once you're broken, the broken means that actually you are going through breakthrough. And I thought, oh, wow, this is so amazing, just to put a spin and look at it from a different perspective to divorce. Because if that was supposed to happen, that was inevitable in a relationship. Yes, so now let's look at a different lens, and it's not the end, and there is a way to go next. But of course, so many women, they have problem even to go back at themselves and looking after themselves, and that is when someone like you could be there to guide them and help them and hold their hand, because you've been there and you know how to heal them through that process. Thank you for doing this. And that's definitely
Yeah,
was needed in our uh, industry for sure.
of
Now,
course. I love it. I love
yeah.
it.
My last question is this. What advice would you give to women who are hesitant to embrace change after divorce? And how can they start to shift their mindset towards creating their own happily ever after?
I would tell them that change is always really scary at first. And I would tell them that if they just place one foot in front of the other and they just do it a little bit, just a tiny little tweak every single day, that's going to get better. They're going to feel more empowered. They're going to build the resilience and the confidence back. It takes time. There's going to be days where you take 2 steps forward and you take 20 steps back the next day. And you have to be loving to yourself and you have to give yourself a lot of grace. There is no right or wrong way to heal. There is no timeline. Nothing is linear. That's a huge point that I want to make. We get so caught up in we have to do it one way, we have to do it this way. There are so many ways to go throughout the healing process. And one of the biggest focuses for me that I like to help women, I just like to help them really focus on who they are again. And it's because they get so lost in the process. So I just want them to come back home to themselves and understand how incredibly valuable they are as a human. They're unique, they're whole, they're already complete. They don't need to add anything, they don't need to subtract anything. They are a whole person and they already are incredible and amazing, and it's going to take time. It's always going to take time.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Patty, for sharing your insight and passion with us today. Your work is that empowering women to reclaim their lives after divorce is truly inspiring. So for my audience who wants to get in touch with you, obviously we are putting all your social handles and how to connect or reach to you and in the comment section. But I know, in fact, you have a Facebook group as well, which
Yeah.
I'm sure it is a private thing, but it's the community to help women. Would you please just elaborate more on that one?
So my community, it's a local group. It's a Dallas group called Rebel Without the Ring. But if you need support and you need somebody to help you, and we have a whole group of women in there, and it doesn't matter whether you're from Texas or not. You can join the group. I created it because I don't want anybody to have to go through any part of the divorce process on their own. Building a community of incredible women who are empowering one another throughout this process was really, really important. That's why I started the group, because I want these women also to have the resources that they need so they can find the healing, find the lawyer, find the housing, whatever it is. So just look us up, Dallas Rebel Without the Ring. We're there. Um, or just look me up on Facebook and you'll be able to find the group.
Wonderful. And of course, to our dear listeners, so if you're ready to reconnect with your inner wild woman and embark on your own transformative journey, so be sure to check out Patty's Facebook group as well as her other social media. So, and remember, it's never too late. Okay, that's remember, it's never too late to look after yourself and yes, start living the life that you deserve. And to know that divorce is not the end. So, and thanks again, Patty, for joining us here today. I really look forward to seeing how your movement is actually continuing to impact women across the globe. And I look forward again to have the next summit together, as we spoke the other day. So just to take this to the next level and just educate women in that area and support them. So we are there for each other. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Wonderful. You have a great day.